Hey, what's up? It's Jared with State of Tech. I've got my Apple Watch Series 3 on, and we're going to talk about how it's held up over the last couple of years. Now, obviously, I haven't been using my Apple Watch 3 as much because I have my Apple Watch Series 5, and last year I did have an Apple Watch Series 4. But the Apple Watch Series 3 is still available, and I think Apple has made a great choice in keeping that around. You know, the biggest complaint that everybody has always had about Apple is that their products are expensive and over the top with price, and come with features that maybe we don't really care so much about. It's like people wanted lower priced, more reasonably priced options, and Apple has now done that by keeping products around that are a few years old, which are still great products, which is why I'm talking about the Apple Watch Series 3 in this video. And now these products are like super comparable in price and actually still have more features than what you can get in most of the products that are available that even just came out weeks ago. So with the Apple Watch Series 3, I started wearing it again because I've been comparing it to other devices. So at $200, starting at $200 for the Apple Watch Series 3, you are comparing that to, say, the Fitbit Versa 2. You're comparing it to a lot of other kind of more budget-friendly smartwatches and fitness trackers. So it's been interesting to me to kind of make those comparisons. And I've done an Apple Watch Series 3 versus Series 5 video. I compared the Apple Watch Series 3 to the Fitbit Versa 2. And I'm even considering comparing it to the Samsung Galaxy Watch Active 2 that just came out. If you're interested in that one, let me know down in the comment section below. But the Series 3 has just been a great performer as well. Not only, I'm not talking about sales and stuff for Apple or whatever. I'm talking about the fact that 2 years later, it actually really performs well. I've been wearing it a lot because of doing these comparison videos. And then in preparation for making this video, I wanted to just wear it as my only watch as if I didn't have any of the other ones so that I can see how it kind of stacks up because there's been software updates. There's a lot more apps available. And over the years, I've used my watch in different ways now. And so maybe I would use it and I wouldn't get the same performance that I would have gotten out of it 2 years ago. So I wanted to wear it again just so that I can get that overall experience, and I've been just super impressed with the Apple Watch Series 3. So the Apple Watch Series 3 with watchOS 6 is a great experience, and the Apple Watch Series 3 was really the first Apple Watch that performed great for me. I've had every version of the Apple Watch, so with the first two versions of the Apple Watch, it seemed laggy. Apps didn't load very fast. Sometimes they wouldn't load. I just had issues with those watches, but I did like the watch itself. Then when the Series 3 came out, it was like, they finally got it together. They got their hardware and their software game locked down, and everything just performed really well with the Series 3, and it was just a great product. And I think that's really when people started going out and you started seeing Apple Watches on a lot of people was around the Series 3. So the fact that the Series 3 is still around is good because of the price. The price point is right, starting at $199, and then, of course, I think you could spend up to about $120 more. It only comes in the aluminum finishes, which keeps the price down. It only comes in a couple of colors, which keeps the price down. But there are two different watch sizes, and then there's also the GPS, and then there's the GPS plus cellular. Now I'm using the GPS only model because I typically don't use the cellular for much. Even though I do like the cellular option, I like the fact that I can maybe just leave my phone behind and just go with the watch only. I just didn't find myself doing that too much. It was just really hard for me to leave my phone behind. And in the instances when I did, I would want to go to my phone for something because it would have been faster to do it on my phone than it would have been on my watch. But with all of the updates and stuff to the Apple Watch now, with not only the OS itself being faster and snappier and having some more features, but there just being more apps that are available, that kind of gap is closing. You still need an iPhone. You can't use an Apple Watch without an iPhone, but the need to have your iPhone with you all the time is becoming less and less. Siri is getting better, so it's getting better at understanding what you're trying to get to. When I ask it to send my wife a text message or something like that, it's fast and snappy. And so I'm wishing now that I still maybe had the cellular edition. I started out with the cellular edition Apple Watch Series 3, wasn't using that. Said I didn't want to be locked into having to pay for a service for it, so I exchanged it for the non-cellular edition, just the GPS only. My Apple Watch Series 5, I've since gone back to the cellular edition, but it really depends. The cellular edition is only going to get you those phone calls and those text message responses if your phone's not around, and then of course you'll still get some notifications and stuff from some of the apps that you have installed on your Apple Watch. So if that's super important to you, you might consider the cellular edition of the Apple Watch Series 3. So let's talk about the device itself. I've already kind of set the stage that I think it's still a great device in 2019, even though it's a 2-year-old device. But let's talk about performance. Let's talk about as much as I can without making this a comparison to the Apple Watch Series 5, which I did a video on. So if you want a comparison between this watch, which is $200, and the much more expensive Apple Watch Series 5, I'll make sure to link up to that video so you can check it out. So the Apple Watch Series 3, the display is still really nice. 2 years later, the display on the Apple Watch Series 3 looks great. When using like a photo watch face, yeah, it's not as sharp as I might expect in 2019, but it's still, photos look great. All the complications and everything that's on this watch look good. I actually kind of like the fact that it doesn't have an always-on display. Race to wake is just a much better experience for me. I'm never like just kind of looking down at my watch from some weird angle. I usually am turning my watch towards my face so that I can see the watch face. They said the always-on display is good because now you don't have to like crank your wrist all the time to look and see what time it is. Your watch can just be sitting at an angle and you can see what time it is, and you don't have to do that awkward thing where you're like checking your watch and people are thinking that you want to leave or you have to go somewhere. That I don't think that's as big of a deal as they played it out in marketing. I think that, we check our watches, our notifications and stuff like that. It's becoming much more acceptable these days to be looking at your watch because it is a smartwatch. And it's not as annoying when somebody checks their smartwatch to me as if somebody pulls out their phone and checks it. We all know that we have notifications and stuff popping up all the time. I just had one from LinkedIn pop up right now. I guess I need to congratulate somebody on their 3-year work anniversary. But for the most part, I turn off a lot of my notifications on my watch anyways. I don't want my watch buzzing and bothering me all day long. I want to be able to go to it for some smart functionality when I need it, but I don't want it to be a distraction all day long. Now, the Apple Watch Series 3 has great battery life, even 2 years later, where you'd think software and all of the things would make the battery drain even faster. I think that Apple has been able to get even better performance out of the Apple Watch Series 3 since the new versions of the software with watchOS 6 has been added. So with watchOS 6, lots of optimizations obviously have been made for the hardware that is still available in this watch. They haven't made any changes really to the hardware. It's still the same hardware that came out a couple of years ago. But with the Watch 3, I get all-day battery life, and I find, and it may be because this is the non-cellular and my Watch 5 is a cellular edition, but this watch beats out that other watch all the time, hands down, in battery life. And I have kind of a long day lately. I've been getting up super early. I'm at the gym at 4 a.m. I'll do either a 2 or a 3-hour workout. I've just really been killing it at the gym lately. And I'm using the workout tracking options as well, which are pretty battery intensive. And then I have a long day ahead of me. I'm all day working and doing things. My watch is buzzing. I've got phone calls and stuff I'm answering or declining all day long. And then at the end of the day, around 8:30, when I typically would take my watch off to charge it before bed, this watch has more battery life left in it than most of my other watches, with the exception of Fitbits and stuff like that, which is great. The Watch Series 3 is solid in its battery life, and that is something that I'm finding is more important to me than some of the other features that you can get in some of the other watches. So with that, the battery is great, even though we're a couple years later and software has advanced a lot. Now, on top of that, you even have the App Store, which is now available with watchOS 6, and of course you get that on the Series 3. So you can download apps like directly in the watch. You're going to need your phone's connection probably for some of the apps to be functional, especially if you have the non-cellular edition, but you're going to be able to download apps right in the watch. And so there's apps with a lot more functionality than ever existed a couple of years ago, yet I'm still getting great performance and battery life out of the Watch Series 3. So in 2019, I think the Watch Series 3 is a fantastic option. Almost, it's a watch that I recommend more than the Watch Series 5, simply because the price of the Watch Series 5 is high. Yeah, it has some new fandangled features and stuff like that that you can't get in the Series 3, but the Series 3 performs like a 2019 device. It does not perform like a device that came out 2 years ago, and that is what I absolutely love. And for those of you that have been around on this channel, you know that a lot of times I do come back a year later and talk about a device. And a lot of times I say, oh, okay, yeah, here's some little issues that I've had with it over the last year. Here's some things. With the Watch Series 3, I haven't really had those issues. It's been an absolute fantastic experience. Of course, the user interface has just gotten better because of the updates to the software. The apps have just gotten better because they're doing more things with watch apps these days. And overall, it's just a greater experience than it started out being. And so that can't be said for a lot of devices these days. Usually, they degrade over time, whereas with the Watch Series 3, it's actually improved over time. Now, I haven't used this watch daily for 2 years solid, so I don't want to come at this video and say, like, this watch has been used every day for 2 years, and here's how it's held up, because I had the Watch 4 and I have the Watch 5. So obviously, I really only used this watch for a little bit over a solid year. But now, even a couple of years later, bringing it back into the mix, talking about it in these comparison videos, talking about it in this video, and spending this last week wearing it nonstop, it's just been absolutely great. And there are not a lot of devices out there that you can buy a few years later and have a better experience than if you had bought it when it first came out. So with that said, I think the Apple Watch Series 3 is one of the best devices available right now, considering its age and considering the fact that you can still buy it. Not only is the price right for those of you that want to jump into an Apple Watch or maybe even upgrade from the first or second generation of the Apple Watch, but the functionality is there as well. You're going to get a 2019 experience on a device that came out 2 years ago, and I think that that's not something that can be said for many other devices. So I've got links to the watch down below. I've got links to a watch bands video that I made as well. So for those of you that are interested in kind of customizing your watch, because there aren't a whole lot of options as far as colors and size, you can definitely fit any of the watch bands. That's one thing that Apple hasn't changed. The watch bands fit and they're interchangeable, which is great. So I made a video talking about like the watch bands that I found on Amazon that were kind of the style that I liked and highly rated. And so those two things combined, I made a video out of that. And I also have another video coming up more on premium watch bands that you can get. Not Apple ones that are overpriced, but premium watch bands that you can get for a reasonable price. I've got a video on that topic coming up soon. Hey, if there's anything that you would like to see smartwatch related, let me know down in the comment section, and I'll do my best to come up with some content on that. But thanks so much for checking out this video. Definitely let me know what you think down in the comment section. Give me a thumbs up if you like the video, and subscribe to the channel if you want updates when we put out new videos here on State of Tech. And I've got a completely redesigned State of Tech website, and I'm trying to do a better job at actually taking the videos and getting that content and putting it on the website as well. For those of you that you want to share the content of the video with, maybe they don't want to watch the video, they'd rather read and see images. And I also often have a lot of photos and product images and stuff that I put in those articles as well that I don't show in the video. So definitely be sure to check out the link to the article for this video down in the description below as well. So I hope that all is well with you, and we'll see you back in the next video. Take care.